Well, hi folks. I'm using a microphone and I'm recording over what I recorded before because the microphone is not working. My room is too echoey, so I switched to an external mic and it didn't work. So now I'm re-recording it, and I'm going to, so just bear in mind this is a voiceover. It's going to be a little bit weird, but I'll try my best because I've done all the recording already. We've got about 12 minutes of this, so we'll try and get it through it and describe what's going on. I'm going to talk about my charts right now, see what's going on. I did a video update yesterday, you can have a look at that, but we'll start with currencies. This is just sort of a bit like Dave Portnoy's pizza review, one bite and one bite pizza reviews, whatever they're called. So this is just a brief look at what I've got going on in my charts at the moment. So we're going to start with the dollar index, and that's the bottom right-hand chart there. And it's going to be weird because you're watching my voice, my face and my voice are different. But you can see we made a piercing pattern. We made a new high on the dollar index, a piercing pattern, and reversed. And today it's been quite bearish, bringing up the euro and the pound quite sharply today. Now, I remember I pointed out in yesterday's video, and you can go and check that out, go and have a look at that video yourself, that we reached the channel bottom on the euro. Now, we are now stuck between the channel bottom and the moving averages, which are overhead. We've got the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 just above us. And we're stuck beneath those, but above the channel bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if we revisited and retested that channel. And overall, I feel that the dollar is more likely to be bullish during the first part of this year than it is to be bearish. And so I think that the euro and the pound, like many others, are more likely to, like many others think, are more likely to move lower than higher. But I'm not trading those because I think it's confusing. But I am trading the dollar yen. I'm short on the dollar yen. You can see we've been moving sideways. That's the top right-hand chart on your screen. We've been moving sideways for 2 weeks now, as this currency sometimes does. If you look to the left-hand side of that dollar yen chart, you can see a similar pattern which lasted even more than 2 weeks, just moving sideways before we suddenly plunged lower. We're in that sort of situation now, right in that red resistance zone, and looking for this move lower down into the 140s and even 130s, maybe even 120s as time goes on. So we have no positions on euro or the pound, but we are short dollar yen, and we've taken shorts on Swiss yen. We've taken profit on that a couple of days ago, right at the bottom, which was great. And then the euro yen, you can see we've had 3 waves up already. Now, this is a classic 3-wave pattern. The third wave, as the waves have progressed, they've got smaller and smaller and run out of energy. The first wave is the biggest, the third is the smallest. And we've now completed that third wave, broken out through that high. Actually, now at this point, adjust the Fibonacci retracement study so I can incorporate the new high a few days ago. Let's just get that done. And you can see we bounced off that Fibonacci retracement, the green zone, and also the 20-period moving average on that way down. So this is the euro-yen day chart. Now, look, let's see how far we bounced. You can see we bounced up through the center line of that, or that red sort of thin trend line. But if I draw a Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, you'll notice that we've retraced precisely 61.8% of the move from the top to the bottom. So we're in a situation where I believe that the yen will strengthen because of a whole bunch of fundamental factors and also technical factors, but also that we'll see the yen strengthen not only against the dollar, but against the euro and the pound and the Canadian dollar and all the others. Now let's go across to stocks. You can see NASDAQ just bounced up again today. We broke down and closed beneath the 20-period moving average, and today we're back above it. The SPX did not break down below the 20-period moving average, bounced off it today, off the top of it, and is moving back up to the underside of that rising wedge. So now on the SPX, we're stuck between the rising wedge and the 20-period moving average below it. So the rising wedge bottom is above the price, and the moving average below it. So it's going to have to decide now whether it can carry on moving lower and complete 2 days beneath the 20 period on the NASDAQ and get 1 beneath the 20 period on the SPX. We're also short on NVDA, but long on Apple and long on Tesla. The reason we're long on Apple and Tesla is because not only are these very good levels to be buying these at after being heavily discounted through the trading in the first part of this year, but also because I want them to be hedges against the shorts I've already got on NASDAQ, S&P, and NVIDIA. So I've got a little bit of a two-way bet going on. This is gold. We got in at the green arrow at the 20-period moving average hold. You can see on that chart. We got out at the red arrow. The problem with holding on to longs with gold right now is that we've had a big move up from the channel bottom. We're almost at the channel top. almost no retracement, just a consolidation around about that level, around 2200, before moving up to where we are currently at about 2270. So what we could expect is a pullback down to that consolidation level, but I think that's too obvious. It's probably going to have to come down to the bottom of the channel at some stage. You can see where that is. I can't see it. My glasses are not with me. Well, I don't have any actually, so I can't see on this recording software. Now, let's go into some of these commodities. This is uranium. We're long and strong on URA and on UEC. You can see these are both moved up. We're long from 28.20 on URA. We're now at 32.20, I think is what is showing on that chart. And on UEC, we're long. Well, you can see the arrow where we got in at UEC, right down at the bottom there. And URA, we got in, as I said, at 28.20. We're holding on to those. I've taken some profit on URA and move stops to break even. Natural gas, you can see we've sort of created the spike high. This is a 4-hour chart at my broker, and a spike high up to 1.89. That's exactly where we got out. I sent out the alert when the moment we touched it, said I'm closing some of my trade. We got out of half of my position. Well, I got out of half of mine. This is what I was doing in any case, and leaving the rest to run. I don't know what's going to do next, to be honest. I think once we get to $2, $2.15, $2.20 or $2.40, any of those levels, we're going to be looking to exit any long positions and potentially look to sell. And for this current long position, as long as we're holding above the entry price, which was 1.76, which is where my stop loss is now, we'll still be long. If we get to that level, I'll be out of natural gas and waiting for the next move. So that's where we are at the moment, and that's on the 4-hour chart of my broker. You can see we're trying to push up, but it's taking its time. And then over at the Henry Hub chart, this is the day chart on the NYMEX Henry Hub, you can see we've just sort of touched that 50-period moving average on the day chart, and that's formed a resistance level that we've just sort of recoiled from them slightly right at this moment. So that's the way that looks at the moment on the NYMEX, and we hope that this will just continue to move up a little bit. But if we get up into that level up there, somewhere up where my cursor is at the moment, around about the 2s, slightly above 2, maybe we've got to fill that gap that's in the middle of the chart. You can see that's at about 2.3 or 2.4. Once again, I can't see the screen properly because it's all small during this overdubbing editing process. So that's natural gas. And then, yeah, so a bit of a spike high today. Looks weak. We moved down in this last 4-hour candle. I don't know how this is going to carry on. We'll see how today closes out. As does everything applies to these commodities today. Someone's saying there's a super cycle that's just beginning. I'm not too sure about that myself, but we'll see. Which would imply that commodities will be strong going into the next cycle. And I don't know how long that will last. I've got no experience with super cycles personally myself, so that'll be interesting to watch. But for the moment, we're long on natural gas, we're short on WTI. Cocoa shorts, I know there are some cocoa shorts around, some in my group as well. Natural gas long, as I said, and long and strong, as I said, on URA and on UEC. So that's the way we're going on that. And then if you are in cocoa, by the way, we want to try and get down below that swing low. That's at around about 9,450, I think it is. Difficult to show. I'll try and sort of make an annotation of this on the chart when I finish off the editing. So we wanted really, now we've got WTI oil on the chart here. I'm short on WTI oil, despite the fact that we've broken through the top of the channel. I've only got a 50% position size on this so far. You can see my 2 entry levels where the red lines are, and we're not far away enough from my last entry for me to add more. This could move up into the 90s. I think we're going to be ranged between somewhere around about 90 at the top extreme and maybe 40 or 50 at the bottom extreme for the foreseeable future. And so anything up into the 90s or close to the 90s where we are now is somewhere to look to sell. And if we get much lower down into the 40s, 50s, or even 60s, those are sort of areas that you might consider buying. For now, I'm short, and we're looking to see how this goes. Do you remember uranium breaking out through the top of its channel line quite recently, everyone going long, and then the price just abruptly reversing? The chart looked almost identical to this, and everyone got caught long. This could be a bull trap. I'm not saying it is. I'm often wrong. 30% of the time, my trades are completely wrong, and this could be one of them. I don't know. Right, so we're on to the next charts now here. This is Bitcoin, the US 10-year. Look at the US 10-year rocketing higher again. The VIX is a little bit up, but plunging again later in the day. But Bitcoin, we're still long on Bitcoin. And really, as long as we're below, I did quite a big detailed video on this yesterday. I'll link that at the end of this one as well. And once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the videos when they come out. You'll get a notification if you press the bell. Bitcoin I'm still long on, and I think if you look at the last video, yesterday's video, and see where we sort of think this is going, but as basically as long as we're above that sort of level there, and we've got a double bottom on the 4-hour chart in that block, and that is the support zone that I'm looking at very closely. There's the 200 period moving average on this 4-hour chart. We're still below the channel line, but we have a double bottom on the day chart and on the 4-hour chart at that block, at that support block, just above the 200 period moving average. I'm hoping we can hold there. If that fails, we may have to get down into the low 60s and even into the high or even low 50s. So keep that in mind. I've still got a fairly small position on this. I'm looking to add to this if it drops lower. If it keeps on going higher and skyrockets and goes berserk, as Bitcoin can, sometimes does do, likes to do, and leaves everyone behind without getting a chance to get in, which is the sort of whole game, I suppose, in a way, then that could be what happens. If that happens, then we'll make some profit on this one. But if we drop down a bit, I'll look to add some more. So basically, I think that's where Bitcoin is. I like that double bottom. I like the block that we've just held above and the 200 period moving average. And I think basically we're still doing pretty well on Bitcoin. Yeah, so just having a look there, again, the VIX just coming back in again. Coinbase, not much today, and so on. And then a couple of other things. The Rand pairs, I did quite a lot of detail on this in yesterday's video as well. So go and check that one out. I'll link that at the end. But basically, I'm looking to buy the dollar South African Rand and the pound South African Rand, and at these sorts of levels. We've come down a wee bit today, so it's even, the price is even lower and even better. But I've explained the reasons for all of this in the last video, so I'll link that at the end. Take care, have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.